If you're anything like me, which first of all, God help you, second of all, you probably like to research in your own time. And if you ever had a gander at the history of the Leinster Football Championship, you probably spotted this.
Oh man!
Yes, you did look at that right. There was a time where the Hurling stronghold Kilkenny was one of the top football counties in the Leinster province. And not only that, but there were also times where they were the best. 3 times to be precise. So let's go over these moments in the early days of the GAA and the Leinster Championship, add a little pinch of humour, and look at the times that Kilkenny were kings of Leinster football.
Shine on Kilkenny, we are yours. Shine on Kilkenny, Kilkenny, we are yours.
And what better place to start than at the beginning? The first Leinster Football Championship, before GAA Go, before Croke Park, and before actual county teams.
Wait, what?
Yep, that's right. At this early stage of the GAA, fully made county teams did not exist yet. Counties were represented in inter-county games through the winners of their club championships, and this year, Kilkenny were represented by now two-time Kilkenny football champions, Kilmacow. In their first round at the first Leinster Football Championship, they faced What? They weren't called Laois yet? Are you serious? Fine. Fuck's sake. Queen's County. They were playing at Oh, you fucking The game was, apart from a fight in the first half which sent 2 players off, not a very competitive game. Kilkenny beat Queen's County a goal 3 to no points to advance into the semi-final. In this semi-final, they played Louth. The game was a lot better as Louth actually managed to get more than 0 points. The game was played in Clonskeagh, which started at 2:15, and the initial part of play was dominated by Kilkenny as they kept the ball in the Louth half. However, that was not to say that Louth were out of it. They managed to salvage 2 points in the first half, but it was Kilkenny that had the edge at half-time with a goal and a point. But the second half started in the worst way for Louth as Kilkenny scored a second goal, and from there Louth, despite getting another point, couldn't salvage the game as the final whistle blew with 2 goals and 1 point to Louth's 3. Now you may be wondering why the scorelines were so low compared to modern Gaelic football matches. Just look at the ball they're kicking. That yoke is pure leather. Anyways, with this win Kilkenny advanced into the first Leinster football final against Wexford in New Ross. Yeah, it's amazing what 135 years can do to a Gaelic football championship. The game was played at 3:25 and the game appeared quite even at the start. However, disaster would eventually come as a Kilkenny player, John Laffin, was injured with a kick in the leg, and Kilkenny were then essentially a man short for the rest of the game. But despite this, the first half ended quite evenly, with a point each. But Kilkenny again got the better start in the second half, scoring a goal. They continued this momentum throughout the second half as they scored 2 more points with no response from Wexford. Unfortunately for them, it doesn't end there as a goal scored by Tom Walsh put the final nail in the coffin as Kilkenny won the game a goal and 4 points to Wexford's 2 points, despite essentially being a man down. This made Kilkenny the first ever Leinster football champions, which is honestly mad to think about considering they don't even compete in Leinster football anymore. But this wasn't the only time Kilkenny won the Leinster Football Championship.
Shine on Kilkenny, we are yours.
Kilkenny would go all the way again in 1900 and no tour of America is going to stop them this time from competing in the All-Ireland. In round 1 of the Leinster Championship this time, they faced Carlow, which I'm sure is going to be a very competitive game. Oh, holy God. How in the ever living Anyway, after Kilkenny beat the absolute life out of Carlow, they advanced into the semi-finals where they'd face their good friends Wexford again at Christendom. This game was a lot closer, with Wexford even leading at half-time by 2 points. However, controversy would happen in the second half when Kilkenny scored 4 points and managed to convince the ref that one of these was a goal. I don't know what trickery they managed to convince the ref, but sure, you know what, they must have allowed it. Because you could probably see where this is going. The crowd invaded the pitch in the argument, but it was finally resolved, and the irony of it was that Kilkenny won the game by that goal and advanced into the Leinster final, in which they'd play Louth at Wexford. Well, when I say play, it just seems like they walked all over them, because the game ended with Kilkenny scoring 12 points and Louth looking like a fucking idiot, which is something that's still happening to this day, funny enough. With the Leinster Championship wrapped up, Kilkenny advanced into the All-Ireland, where they'd played the Munster Football Championships of that year, Tipperary. Ugh, Kilkenny versus Tipperary in football is such a weird sentence to say. Well, anyway, like the running team with Kilkenny this year, controversy. There was a lot of it at this game. The game was played at Carrick-on-Sheer, and Kilkenny had the upper hand on the Tip men, leading at half-time a goal 3 to 2 points, and eventually winning the game out with a goal 6 to 7. This would advance Kilkenny into the All-Ireland football final. Or would they? This is where the controversy comes in. The team representing Kilkenny in the Chess Championship was the Slachorry Miners, a team that was situated on the Kilkenny and Tipperary border. And it had Tipperary players. You can probably see where this is going. Tipperary found this out and protested the result of the game to the Central Council. Unfortunately for Kilkenny, the Central Council agreed with Tip and ordered a replay of the game to be played without the Tip players for Kilkenny. Kilkenny refused this in protest and were disqualified, allowing Tip to advance. The irony of this all was that Tip would go on the whole way and win the All-Ireland Football Championship that year, all because of the biggest clusterfuck in the GAA till the 2010 Leinster final. God, even in football Kilkenny and Tipperary are providing some controversy. The 1911 season is our last stop on this journey? And Kilkenny's once again competes in the Leinster Football Championship. And guess who they're playing in the first round? That's right, it's Wexford again. You thought we were done with them? Apparently fucking no. Well, Wexford didn't beat Kilkenny this time either, as Kilkenny won the game 3 goals to Wexford's 1 point. With that, Kilkenny advanced into the semi-final, where they played Kildare at Maryborough. Out the gates, Kilkenny had the advantage at half-time with a goal and 1 to Kildare's absolutely nothing. In the second half, Kildare managed to get 2 points, but they couldn't make any inroad into Kilkenny, and the game ended a goal 2 to 2 points, meaning Kilkenny entered the Leinster Football Final once again. In the Leinster Football Final, Kilkenny would face off against Meath at Jones Road. The game would once again be controversial because Kilkenny failed to turn up on time. I don't know, but I don't think traffic problems would have been that much of an issue in 1911 Ireland. Anyway, Meath were granted a walkover, but they refused? They refused it, I think. Anyway, the game went ahead in the pissing rain when Kilkenny finally arrived. Meath probably should have accepted the walkover because Kilkenny were on fire. But saying that, Meath were playing well as well, and at half time the scoreline stood at Kilkenny's 2 goals 2 points to Meath's a goal 1. But in the second half, Kilkenny continued showing their dominance over the Meath team, scoring a couple more points, and on top of that, Kilkenny had brilliant defence that day, meant that Kilkenny won 2 goals and 4 points to Meath's 1 goal and 1 point, meaning that Kilkenny were once again Leinster Football Champions. Or were they? Yeah, the controversy doesn't end yet. After the game, Meath protested the results due to Kilkenny not turning up in time, claiming that they strongly disagreed with Kilkenny not turning up on the schedule, and they played out of protest, which is what? However, the results stood and Kilkenny were declared Leinster Football Champions for what would be the last time. They'd go on to play in the All-Ireland Football Championship that year, but they fell at the first hurdle against Antrim's 3 goals to 1 point to 1 goal 1. So those were the times that Kilkenny were kings of Leinster football, for those who stuck around this far. But you may be wondering, where is Kilkenny football now? Well, not much of anywhere, to be honest with you. They briefly took part in the National Football League 2008-2011, which went well. Most recently, Kilkenny football has taken part in the All-Ireland Junior Football Championship, which they actually won last year against competition such as Hertfordshire and Scotland and New York. Well, Well, a win's a win, I suppose, and fair play to them for getting that far.
How pleasant to roam by the sunny blue stream, to hear the dove coo 'neath the morning sunbeam, where the thrush and the robin their sweet notes entwine on the banks of the shore that flows down by Mooncoin. Flow on, lovely river, flow gently along. Your waters so clear sings the lark's merry song. On your green banks I'll wander, where first I did join with you, lovely Molly, fair rose of Mooncoin.